Hi everybody, it's Martha Stewart and Thomas Joseph here in our test kitchens. We've decided to come indoors. Well, it is about 97 degrees outside, so and there are still blueberries on the bushes in my garden, but we decided we'd come inside and show you what we do with the great blueberries that we actually garden and grow and pick, but we'll do it inside. And today we're going to make a crisp.
Yes.
Blueberry crisp. Now the blueberries that I grow in my garden were planted starting about 10 years ago. And I got the berry bushes from a variety of different suppliers. And what I looked for was bushes that would start producing in June, really, late June, which is about the right time for blueberries to start, and go all the way through July and even, I hope, into August. And that's exactly what's happened. We have a long season of amazing blueberries. You can see how big they are. I mean, these are giant blueberries. They're so as big as giant buttons, aren't they? These are just so beautiful. I just picked out some of the largest ones. And the bowl, these were just picked yesterday. And they are tart and sweet and tender and blue and extremely flavorful.
Yes.
So unlike some of the berries that you get in the store.
Yeah.
Those are nice too, and they have a nice nutritional content, but I think these berries are the best. And they are Jersey blueberries, even though I grow them in Bedford, New York. Yes. I take my Jersey blueberries everywhere. My sister-in-law, Rita, brought me a whole bowl of her blueberries last week. She said, look, you want to have some, taste them. Hers actually tastes really good. And I said, oh, these are from the berry bushes I gave you when you got married.
Oh, really?
And she said, oh no, and when she got the house they live in now, she's married to my brother George. And she said, oh, I don't remember that. They always forget. I mean, I think I gave them 25 blueberry bushes.
Oh, wow.
And hers are delicious.
Yeah.
And we also took a bunch of berry bushes up to Maine, to my house in Maine, where it is almost sacrilegious to grow anything but Maine blueberries.
Yes.
Maine blueberries are low bush blueberries, and they're kind of tiny and sweet, and they swear that they're the best blueberries in America, but I swear these are the best, even though I love Maine and I do have a house, but I'm not a Mainer, so I can say that. I'm just putting out the giant berries here. And so I prefer these cooked and raw to any other kind of blueberry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they are spectacular. So I have a test for you. We're going to be making a crisp today.
Yes.
All the desserts that I'm going to ask Thomas about have one thing in common. They involve blueberries, sugar, a modicum of flour, and butter.
Okay.
So what's a crisp?
Okay, well, a crisp is what we're making today, so I feel like I know this one. So the topping, or the crumb on top, is made with flour and butter, and it sometimes has oats, it could have nuts in it, and I think that's pretty much it, where you cut the butter into the flour mixture.
That's a good one. What about a crumble?
I believe, this is really testing me, a crumble, it's less likely to have those add-ins like the oats and the nuts. It does?
Yeah, that's the main
Shoot.
feature. That's the main feature of a crumble. What about a cobbler? You know this.
Okay, yes, a cobbler is a biscuit topping.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
A nice, tasty, sweet biscuit.
Yeah.
And it's kind of bakes into the fruit, and the biscuits get a little purple on one side because of the juices of the blueberries. And if you do it right, it looks like a cobblestone street when you're finished. Mm-hmm. And if you try really hard, you can make it look like a cobblestone street. Now, what about a pandowdy?
Okay, a
pandowdy is a dessert like this made out of blueberries.
Which is pastry, right? A pandowdy pastry, that's how I remember it. So I think it could either have a pie crust, or you could do it with
even biscuits rolled out real thin.
Yep.
And you cut the pastry into odd shapes, sort of like a stained glass window or a paned window, a rectangular. Mm-hmm. Just put them on top so it looks dowdied up.
Yeah, my mother used to make a baked fruit dessert when she would have leftover scraps of dough from making the pie. She would take more fruit and just kind of.
And the last thing, Betty. A Betty.
Betty is bread. B-B. So bread crumbs, or sometimes, bigger pieces of bread that are tossed with sugar and butter.
And layered in between the fruit.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a layer of blueberries, a layer of bread, a layer of blueberries. And I've actually never made a Betty.
No?
Have you?
Yeah, a few times
Maybe
here.
for the story that we did.
Yeah.
We did a whole story on Cobbler's Crisp, Handouties, and Betty's, and
Yep.
and what was the other one?
Well, there's a buckle.
Oh, buckle. Oh, what about the buckle?
That's the cake, right? So it's
Yes.
slightly different, but still a baked fruit dessert. And then there's
Grunt.
What is it? The grunt, or
Yeah,
the
the
slump.
grunt or the slump. Slump. So what's a buckle?
The buckle is with the cake.
But that batter is under the fruit.
Right,
And
it
the
kind of
fruit's on top.
Puffs up over top.
Yeah,
a
what
little
about a
bit.
grunt?
Oh man.
They're just like cobblers, but instead of being baked in the oven, they're baked on top of the stove in
That's right.
like a cast iron skillet, and you put the biscuits on top, and it all cooks at
Yeah.
the same time.
Or on a campfire, right?
Yeah. Oh, it works really well on a campfire.
In the summertime.
Oh, I went up to Baxter State Park and I made myself a slump.
Yeah.
It's very delicious.
So wait, what did
and
I
the
get?
bears came.
They did?
And the deer came, and the woodchucks came.
Oh, gosh.
And, oh my gosh, we had a lot of visitors.
Did I get a good grade? I feel like I missed a few.
I would
maybe.
say you got like 85. Okay?
All right.
So let's make the topping for our crisp.
I have a few questions about
Oh,
the
already,
blueberries.
okay.
So, yeah, so Mary would love to know, how do you preserve your blueberries at the end of the season?
Well, not at the end. I preserve my blueberries all during the season. Already I have a freezer, I would say 10 cubic feet of blueberries frozen. So what I do is I either put them in a Ziploc bag and seal them up with no air and put them kind of flattish, layered in the freezer in one layer, let them get really hard, then I could stack them. Or I put them in rigid 1-quart containers because 4 cups seems to be an optimum amount of blueberries for, I just made blueberry muffins yesterday for breakfast. And everybody was amazed that I made them. But I get up, it takes about, if you have all your ingredients, it takes 15 minutes to make, 30 to 35 minutes to bake.
Yeah.
You have to remember to preheat the oven. So I get up, I run downstairs, turn on the oven, turn on the fan, the exhaust fan, and then by the time I get downstairs, it's all ready to go.
Yeah.
And the butter has to be soft, the room temperature. So take the butter out. You can even do that the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But your secret to blueberry muffins is always adding more blueberries than the recipe says.
Twice as much
Yes.
as anything.
Because that's what you want,
I
right?
know. In our baking handbook, we have the ultimate blueberry muffin recipe, but instead of 2 cups, add 4 cups. I do it all the time, and they're really good. And I bake them in paper cups.
Yeah.
In muffin tins. They really work well. So let's make a crisp.
Sure. All right. And we're going to do this recipe today without a mixer or anything. So it's just all you need is
so I'm
bowls.
making the topping.
Yes.
So you're going to cut the butter and the sugar.
Right. Well,
now
this
that's
is
already warm. Is that okay?
Yeah, it should be fine. It's a third of a cup of sugar mixed with 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and I'm just gonna mix this together, just really to combine the sugar with the butter here.
Okay. So 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour, half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Now, is this from the magazine? Where is this recipe
So this is
Oh.
from the 2009 column when you did a whole story on blueberries.
Judy Morris just told me. Where's Judy? Judy, come here, Judy.
Oh, boy.
Come here.
Hello.
Yeah, Judy just told me she makes this all the
It
time.
is delicious.
Oh, and look who else is here. Hi, Yehuda, our CEO is here and visiting with. Oh, Al, that's you over there. Al Gossett, one of our illustrious board members of the Sequential Brands Company, and very welcome here. It's really nice to see you. Isn't it a nice studio?
Beautiful.
Yeah, and this is just one of our 2 Martha kitchens that we sell at the Home Depot. And this was actually on our TV set when we did the Daily Show, we brought it here to our corporate offices and rebuilt it here. And it is a great spot to do these Facebook Lives, so you don't have to come to Bedford. Yeah. But you like coming to Bedford.
I do. Yes. We were just talking about Maine too. I love going to Maine.
Oh yes. Oh, we're gonna have such a good time in Maine. So a half a cup of dry. We're gonna put rolled oats in this. No nuts because I don't like nuts in my crisps.
Yes, I know that.
And I don't know why. Why don't I like nuts?
maybe they're just too toothy. You know what I mean? They get a little too hard.
Should I dump this in there?
Yes.
Okay.
And then this just gets mixed together until the flour and the oats are kind of moistened by the butter.
Yes.
And then this is it. And then we just have to combine the ingredients for the filling, and we're pretty much done.
Oh, so the filling is here, so I can just clean this little mess up.
But Martha, tell everybody the secret behind your blueberries this year. I love this little
Yeah, we
this
have
little
a
fact.
great solution to getting the best, most flavorful, biggest blueberries on earth. And I wish this would happen everywhere. And I kind of think that maybe it'll get overdone, and maybe the blueberries will start tasting like what I add to the soil. Wouldn't that be horrible?
It'll be weird.
Oh,
yeah.
it'd be so weird. But now, I don't know if you know it, but we have the Martha Cafe in the lobby of our office building. There are about 5,000 people who work at Starrett Lehigh. This is the name of this historic 1925 building. And we decided, because there was no good coffee anywhere in the neighborhood, to build the cafe. And our landlord was kind enough to let us have a space in the lobby. So we have a delicious, delicious cafe. And all our coffee grounds that are used for the espressos, the macchiatos, the lattes, the cappuccinos, the cold brew coffee, all those coffee grounds are not thrown into the garbage like all other coffee shops, but I take them home in a big tub. Sometimes the car does smell like coffee, and it's a little overpowering late at night.
At least
when
it's not onions or something like
well,
that.
they
right?
smell pretty bad too when I take them home to the chickens. But the coffee grounds are then spread in several places in my own garden at home. And I always think, well, are we putting too much? But if you're going to get blueberries like this, the branches are so heavy, they're laden with blueberries, and you get these giant, giant berries. The coffee is incorporated into the soil around the base of all the blueberry bushes, all the raspberry bushes, anything that needs acid in the soil, because coffee grounds are acidic. So it lowers the pH. pH generally is a 6.3 or 6.7. That's the typical kind of pH you want in your soil for general growing, like lettuce and stuff, and peas. But if you want to grow berries, and you want to grow azaleas, and you want to grow boxwood, and you want to grow, what are the other things I use them for? Just nut trees and things like that, evergreens. Use coffee grounds, and it works. And I'm so happy, and Ryan will attest to this, to the fact that I'm not crazy, that the coffee grounds are enriching to the soil. So we make the most of what we are doing around this joint. Okay, so here's our blueberries. Now, so we need 6 cups, and that's what I have here. Half a cup of sugar. Here it is. Here's the half a cup of sugar.
So Denise would like to know, what should she be looking for when purchasing nice, juicy, sweet blueberries? And if she can't find any, would frozen be okay to use in this
Frozen are fine. But just use them frozen. Don't thaw them, because then they get wet. So use them frozen right out of the freezer. And I freeze so many berries, I just take them right out, measure them, mix them with a little bit of flour. The flour coating on a berry, a moist berry, will prevent the berry from sinking into the bottom of the cake or the muffin or whatever.
Yep.
In a crisp like this, you want the berries on the bottom, so you don't have to worry about that. But half a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of cornstarch, which will help thicken the juice of the blueberries. So 1 tablespoon, a tablespoon of lemon juice, and a quarter of a teaspoon, just a scant quarter teaspoon of salt.
Yeah, and I feel like whenever you're baking, we should talk about this. You know, it's really important to add salt when you're baking, because it brings out all of the natural flavors.
We add salt to our ice creams. I learned that from John Barricelli.
Yep.
Salt in our fruit pies, salt in pretty much everything, but not a lot, just a little bit. It brings out the flavor, it enhances the flavor. So stir this around. Make sure that that cornstarch gets all mixed with the berries. And we're using this beautiful baking dish. I love this dish.
Yep.
It is so pretty. Is that one of our dishes?
Yes, it's a 9-inch, I believe it's a 9-inch square baking dish.
And that's available at Macy's. You know, I had Terry Blair Hamlish. She was married to Marvin Hamlish, the great composer.
Yeah.
And she came for the weekend this weekend out to East Hampton. And she ate off of our beautiful white rim dishes with the little tiny rim.
Yep.
The Macy's collection, Martha collection. And she loved them so much. I saw her busy, and I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "I'm ordering 12 of everything," and she got them already.
Good, that's great.
She was so happy to get her dishes. Okay, so pour that in. I'll scrape. Make sure you get all this the sugar and cornstarch back into. Now this is going to be moist. It'll be juicy. That cornstarch is not too much to make it like glue. You don't want a gluey cobbler or crisp. You want a juicy cobbler or crisp. We're making crisp. To remember.
Sarah would like to know what other fruits are good for crisps.
Oh gosh,
Everything.
Right
Pretty
now,
much.
you know, in East Hampton, the peaches are ripe.
Oh yeah, peaches are
Already.
delicious.
So if you have peaches, they make the best peach crisp or peach cobbler. That's cobblers with biscuit. Remember that. Any raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. Oh, I love crisps made out of gooseberries.
Oh yeah,
Really
gooseberries
good.
are really great because they're nice and tart.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay, so and then we get just put the crisp topping on top.
Yep. It's
And
so
I
simple.
I do it with my hands. You?
Yeah, so I can form little kind of
Lumps.
clumps and
Yeah.
you can make them as big or as little as you'd like.
Yeah, just kind of squeeze it when you're dropping it on. This is so great. And make sure you get an equal amount of topping over the whole thing. I like this because it has these handles.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. We have some great stuff at Macy's, and we are creating a whole new wall of gadgets.
Yep.
And
Functional tools.
yeah. Oh, you know, Thomas brought up the whole design team last week to my house. We tore through my drawers, my
Yes.
cupboards, my basement prop house, and we were looking for other new ideas for kitchen gadgets. Because I really am a believer in having gadgets that work, that are functional, that don't take up drawer space. If they're only going to be used once a year, forget it. You don't need it. You don't need it if it's only once a year, unless it's something, you know, really extraordinary, like what? What's an extraordinary one?
The German
a
cherry pitter.
A German cherry pitter and a truffle slicer.
Yeah.
Truffle slicer. You have to have a truffle slicer, and you're not going to use it very often, because who can afford truffles? But I went to a dinner party the other night,
Yeah.
and I had black truffles. They had a bowl of black truffles the size of, like almost baseballs.
Oh wow.
Hard balls, not softballs. Hard,
Yeah,
hard balls
the
are
smaller
small.
ones, yeah.
But they came from Australia. So they are growing black, fragrant, tasty truffles in Australia now.
Oh wow.
And I haven't gotten the address yet, but when I get it, I will share it with everybody, because I love black truffles so
yeah.
much.
On
Okay, so
pasta.
pop it in the oven. What temperature?
So this is 375 for about an hour, but you should really check it, I would say, 15 minutes before that, so maybe 45 minutes.
So
Okay.
Amy would like to know, why do you need baking powder for crisps?
It just keeps the topping a little lighter, and that's why we put it in. You don't have to have it, and as I said, sometimes I forget it. And it doesn't really bother me, but look how beautiful it looks.
I think we have some ice cream to go along with it.
Oh, I've been waiting for. I have had very little to eat today, and I am starving for. I'm never not hungry enough for a beautiful crisp. So this comes out. Don't serve it boiling hot. It gets too hot, and you'll burn your tongue. And don't serve it to the little kids, because it's just they won't be happy.
So a few more questions about the blueberries. Where is the best place to buy blueberry plants and the best time to plant?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. I think the best time is to buy them in the spring, early spring. Order them. I think I did the wrong thing. Put that in first, then the ice cream, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There. That's for me. No, you can have that one. Oh wow, is this fantastic?
And it has such a nice consistency. You can
Oh.
see that the fruit is still nice, and you can see the beautiful pieces of the blueberry, and it's
Oh.
nice and juicy.
Well, look at the ice
not
cream.
too gluey.
You made a beautiful ice cream too. I can see the vanilla bean seeds in it.
There's lots of vanilla in here.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Make one for Judy, because she
All right.
loves this so much. And there's enough for everybody. This will serve approximately 8 to 10 people. So, and that's 6 cups. 6 cups of
Six
blueberries, right?
cups. 3 pints, yes.
Yeah, 6 cups. This is for me. More crisp, less ice cream. But notice how I'm making these nice little little ice
Canals.
cream. Canal, yeah, canal. I was thinking of the word. That's it. And you put your ice cream in a bread pan like this, in a loaf pan, and freeze it that way. And it works very, very nicely to get the nice
Long scoops.
long canal scoops. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So we will try this, and don't plan to go to any place where you have to smile a lot after you eat blueberry
Let's see.
crisp, because you will have blue teeth and a blue tongue, so you can scare people.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Do I have blue teeth?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Eat
Okay.
the whole thing. You will.
It's really delicious.
Someone wants to know about freezing strawberries. Would you freeze strawberries the same way you freeze blueberries?
Strawberries are harder to freeze. And what I do with strawberries is I macerate them with sugar first. And I hold them. That means taking the green off. And then I macerate them with just a slight amount of sugar that starts the juices of the strawberry running. And they get a little bit moist. Then I freeze them in rigid containers. That's the way to do the strawberry, would you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
And not just whole right out of the basket. They will get kind of dry and a little bit like mealy. You want the juices to start to move in the strawberry before you freeze it.
Yeah.
Question from Gregory. Can you use cast iron pans for the same recipe?
I wouldn't.
I know that you don't like to bake that much in cast
No, I
iron.
taste the iron. And although the iron is very good for you, you don't taste the beautiful clay dish here, this glazed clay dish or porcelain. You just don't taste it. And I can taste the iron. Can you?
Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, whenever I use my cast iron skillet for so many different things, so
Yeah.
sometimes it does pick up a little bit of flavor from other foods too. But I think you could definitely make these in little ramekins. Individual servings would be really
you know
great
how you
too.
avoid that, picking up the flavors?
You-
Like have more than one cast iron
Yeah.
skillet.
yes.
You can have more than one. One for savory, one for sweet, one for garlic, one for onion.
It's a lot. I live in a studio apartment, so
I don't care. You can stack them. They take only about, they don't take so much room. Graduated size. It's
Yeah.
the same pile that one would take. That's all. They make so many excuses, these studio livers.
What?
The millennials.
You were mentioning about the best time to plant.
oh yeah.
Best
Oh,
time to plant the blueberries.
spring. And let them grow. You're not going to have very many blueberries the first year, if any at all. But feed them, water them, just keep them weed free. You don't want a lot of weeds growing under your berry bushes. Oh, and I didn't mention the pests. There are two major pests of blueberries. One you will know, it's a squirrel. They are in there. They want to be in that blueberry patch, and so squirrels will do a lot of damage. But the other pest is something that we want to have around our yard. Can you guess what that is?
Birds. Because they'll eat them
Birds.
all, right?
Oh, they peck just a peck out of each blueberry.
That's rude.
And it is very rude. And I think they're too big for them to actually take the whole berry in their mouth. So they just take pecks out of everything. And so you have to put netting. And netting is very inexpensive. I have a 1/2-inch square plastic netting that has something else in the plastic, so it's quite flexible. And I keep it over the entire, I built a pergola out of stakes, straight stakes up about 10 feet at a top, and I just lay the plastic netting over that. And I pin the netting to the ground so that the ground animals, like the squirrels, stay out of there. So that skunks too. But I like skunks.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I saw one walking across the field the other day, and it looked so pretty, little black and white thing. And all the horses it was walking like in amongst the horses. It wasn't scary.
They don't mind each other.
No,
No.
They were so cute. And but just don't get near it, and don't let your dogs near the skunks,
Yeah.
because that's a disaster. This is so good.
Isn't it tasty?
Any other questions?
I do. Kendra would like to know how many years does it take of growing for a great blueberry yield? So how many seasons does it take to?
Oh, 3. And you'll have a lot of blueberries after the 3rd year. After the 6th year, you'll have way too many to eat. And there is a little chart in the little blueberry book that I have, which I forgot to bring today. We'll put it online. But it says for a family of 4, you should have 12 bushes. And that is enough to eat as well as to freeze. I have probably 100 for a family of one.
No.
I have their kids. I guess you can count my family as about 300. As I bring them to the office, I bring them to Facebook Live, I bring them to Maine, I freeze so many. Yeah, I guess I have a lot.
And you make jam.
Oh, I make lots of jam. What else?
You mentioned that you even put salt in your ice cream. Anything specific that you don't put salt in?
Huh.
I don't put salt in whipped cream.
No, yeah.
Not in whipped cream. And in my lemonade, I don't put salt. I don't like salty water.
You have to be careful. Sometimes with meringues, you should add a pinch to meringues, but you don't want to add too much because that can it can be a little too overpowering with the lightness of the meringues. But you know, generally in baking, a little pinch goes a long way. So. Yeah.
And I use unsalted butter for almost everything. So this was unsalted butter in our crisp topping. Right. So you can add the salt as much as you like.
Yeah.
That's good.
So slightly off topic, but Jeanette wants to know, are you coming out with anything for Christmas this year?
Yeah, lots of things. We have a new vegetable book coming out. It's so beautiful and so delicious. I think is the Newlyweds coming out before Christmas?
I thought it was coming out in the new year.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
We have so many beautiful products at Macy's. We have throws. You have to order them now. I don't know if you can pre-order the throws, but they are these beautiful soft throws with big fur balls all along the edges. They are so fabulous. And they come in several colors, and you'll want to have these throws on every couch in your house. You know that one year that thing that I forget what they called
the
it.
Snuggie? Yeah.
This is so much nicer than the Snuggie. This you just hold over your shoulders like this and sit down with it like a giant cape over you, and you look sexy, not like a stupid idiot with the Snuggies. Everybody looks so stupid in those things.
Oh Lord.
And then you couldn't walk, and you couldn't do anything.
I never bought
You were
one.
like lumps on the couch. So much better than a Snuggie. Sorry, Snuggie inventor, whoever you are. What else?
So we'll do one final question. Francie wants to know, how do you get blueberry stains out?
Actually, they come out. You know what doesn't come out are sour cherry stains. And cherry stains really have a hard time coming out of a white blouse. Blueberry will come out if you get it fast enough into cold water and then wash with a non-chlorine bleach. The blueberry stains seem to come out. But I'm just watching that I'm not dripping on my beautiful blouse because I don't chance it.
Oh, do one more final question. Alyssa would like to know, besides ice cream, what else do you normally serve with it, Chris?
Well, I like it just by itself. I don't even care. See, I'm not eating the ice cream so much. I don't care about the ice cream. I really care about the crisp.
Yeah.
I care about those blueberries.
And so the vanilla ice cream?
This is vanilla. You could do any cinnamon ice cream if you want, but I think whipped cream is really nice on it. Whipped creme fraiche is nice on it.
That's good.
But I like it. I don't think it needs anything, especially if the blueberries are this good.
We've got a lot of questions about making blueberry jam and canning, so we may have to do another episode just on that.
And we should.
Yeah.
We should. We have lots of blueberries. So thanks all for watching, and let us know what you think, and about blueberry crisp. And
they should send in their pictures too. If they're going to make
if
the
you're gonna
recipe, they can put it right in the comment section.
Yes, send us your pictures. We would love to see what you make. And this can be doubled and tripled, and you can make a nice big long one in a big lasagna pan. And then you can serve a big crowd.
Yeah.
And if you're having a barbecue, this is a great dessert for a barbecue.
Perfect.
Really great. Okay, have fun.
Bye, guys.